Hey guys, welcome back to more relationship marriage drama stories. In this video, OP gets abandoned by his wife, leaving behind two toddlers because she wants to go on a spiritual yoga trip to Hawaii. Let's dive right into the story. And the first one starts like this. So I'm a dad of two toddlers, and if you asked me about a year ago, I would have told you that my life was fantastic. I would not use the word perfect because of course every family goes through stress and being exhausted with a 1 and a 3-year-old running around causing constant chaos. But I would not have traded any aspect of it for the world. My wife was also great and took care of the kids and the house while I was working. At first we both had jobs, but it made little sense to both work and leave the kids in care of others all day, so basically I agreed to work a little bit more so she could stay home with the kids. I was not upset about that because I grew up with a stay-at-home mom and loved it. I also made sure to take weekends off in order to spend time with the kids myself. Now, of course, the shift from working to being home with toddlers all day was a bit stressful for my wife. She seemed to get really into yoga and the spiritual aspect surrounding it. I won't lie and pretend that I knew what she was talking about when she would go off about it to me. She was happy from it, and that was the important thing in my mind. In my mind, her yoga interest was harmless and nothing I needed to even bat an eye about. One day my wife came up to me and just told me like it was no big deal that she was going to Hawaii for 2 weeks for a big spiritual yoga trip. I was a bit annoyed because I would have liked to discuss it before she spent the money and decided to go. And by the way, Ripe Stars, just a quick question, I'm curious what you think about this, especially here in Thailand, and I guess Southeast Asia in general. There are a lot of expats that are so much into yoga, meditating and all that kind of stuff, and I'm curious, are you into that kind of thing as well? To be honest, for me, I am super far away from that kind of stuff. I'm pretty much working all day and that's what I enjoy. But I do respect people that do that kind of stuff, but I think some of them take it a bit too serious. Anyway, to make it worse, she was leaving in 2 days, so she really sprung this on me. I wanted her to be happy, but I was now panicking trying to get the kids taken care of because I could not take time off work for this. I also had a long conversation with her about spending that kind of money without even thinking about mentioning it to me. We were not struggling for money, but we didn't have any just to throw away either. I was really lucky that during those 2 weeks my mom came by a lot in order to help me. I also found a daycare that was willing to take the kids, so between those two things I was able to make it work. I was not really sleeping much in order to make it work, but it was working. I knew that being a single parent was extremely hard, but I didn't realize how much of a juggling act it really was. I was making calls for work with a kid in my arms and the other grabbing onto my leg. I was having my kids eat in the car to get them to daycare on time, and about 100 other things that made me kind of feel like not the world's best dad, despite what my coffee mug says. It was time for her to come home, and I helped them make a sign for her, since the 3-year-old especially was not happy about mom being gone for this long. He asked for her pretty much every day and did not accept me as a proper substitute. We were ready and waiting for her to get back from the airport, but it never happened. As most people would in this kind of situation, I panicked. I tried to call airlines and hotels, but I was not able to get any information about my wife getting on a plane or even going anywhere. I knew she was in Hawaii since I had been getting photos of the beach and some nice drinks during the time she was there, but nothing from the last 3 days before all of this. She was not answering her phone or texting back or anything. I had no choice but to go to bed for the night and keep trying to call her in the morning. Maybe she got help from her retreat or something. The next day, I was not getting anywhere still and decided to spread my search to asking our mutual friends if they heard anything from her or knew if she was safe. I was either getting nothing or comments that she was probably fine. Well, that was until I spoke to one of our friends, Amy. Amy had been in both of our lives since college, so she was actually the first person I messaged if she heard anything, but she did not respond until many hours later asking if she could call me up to talk. I agreed, and that night after I put the kids to bed, I called her and she started to explain things to me. She told me that my wife had sworn her to secrecy, but she didn't want to watch me go crazy over this or get the police involved or something, and that was when she told me the last thing that I was expecting at all. She left you for him. I had no idea who him even was, and it took a lot of prying and questions to get answers out of Amy, but I was able to do so. She told me that the yoga retreat was not real and she was just posting photos on her private Instagram of her with a guy in his villa. Again, it took a lot of asking for her to send me the pictures since she felt it would just upset me even more. To make a really long story a little more condensed for the sake of not keeping you here all day, this was what I learned happened over many conversations and eventually gaining access to her other Instagram using a fake profile. She had been claiming that she was doing yoga, but actually sneaking off to cheat on me with other guys. And one of these guys ended up being a rich guy with a villa who was visiting from Hawaii. The two of them must have really hit it off and she agreed to leave her husband and 2 small children to go and live in his villa. She had literally abandoned us in order to be with him instead, and the ripple effect from that was so deep. I was basically a single father now, trying to handle the kids and avoid my 3-year-old who just kept asking when mommy was coming home. I didn't know how to explain to him that she was not gonna be coming home, she had left me, and the only thing I could do was keep checking on her Instagram, which was a double-edged sword since seeing her with another man was destroying my heart. Then about a month later, she made a post showing a positive pregnancy test. She was actually having a baby with this man and seemed to have zero guilt about her other 2 kids being gone. She cared more about the money and lavish lifestyle of living on a villa in Hawaii than being with her own husband and kids. More time passed by and I was not even checking her profile anymore. I was just trying to start my life over as a single parent and put all my focus into being a good dad. And by the way, Ripe Stars, sorry if there's a lot of rain sound in the background, but the monsoon just started and I'm trying my best to suppress the noise. Anyway, I got them into a good daycare program and I picked up more work to do and to try and fill any extra time I had in my life. I even managed to get a promotion from all the hard work I was doing, one that meant not only more money, but better hours so I could spend more time with my kids. Again, my mom was a huge help here when I was spiraling and getting depressed over the entire thing. I knew that I had to contact a lawyer and work on getting an official divorce based on the fact that she had clearly left with no intention of coming back. They would have to track her down at the villa, and I would wish I could have seen the guy's face if he didn't know about her past life. Well, that did not end up happening because after I was starting the proceedings of getting divorced, I was met with yet another surprise. My doorbell rang and my wife was just standing on the porch like nothing happened. I was lucky that the kids were out with my mom since I was trying to get some work done and make dinner. She liked to take them to the nearby park in the afternoons to give me time to get some things done. She was very clearly pregnant and started to cry and grab onto me like she had been gone days and not months. She said that she had made a mistake and wanted to come back and just forget like she had been gone. I pressed for more information and told her that I knew about the man and the villa. She had been kicked out of his house for reasons that I never did fully find out. My best guess was he did not like the idea of her being pregnant or he found out the secrets of her past. I told her that I was moving forward with the divorce and planned to get full custody of the children. I brought all the paperwork I needed to and even used her past posts as evidence. I saved them before she even had the chance to delete them so she couldn't lie about where she had been. I told the courts that she wasn't stable to keep the kids since she had abandoned them once already. I was willing to give her visitation rights, but that was it. And by the way, Ripe Stars, if possible, I would not have even given that. Anyway, she of course wanted custody and started blaming me for being a bad husband and not making enough money to support her in the way that she needed. She was also going to owe me child support now, which she was not happy about. She did not want to go back to work and figured I would be giving her money. To top things off, she actually asked the judge if when she had her current baby, if she could make me pay for child support. When asked if it was my baby or not, she admitted that it wasn't, but since we were legally married when she got pregnant, I should be financially responsible. She did not like what the judge had to say about that either. Now, a bit over a year since it all began, and I would like to think I'm doing pretty well. My kids are happy and I'm doing great at work, and I think I got a good grip on juggling work and them. My now ex-wife stopped showing up for visitation and has not been able to keep a job. I think she still has her baby, and part of me feels bad that my kids might not know their half-brother, but it might be for the best. They are happy and I would not want their mother coming back into their lives just to hurt them again. And for anyone still asking questions in the comments, yes, I got full custody of the kids and no, I don't have to pay child support for my ex's affair baby. In fact, she needs to pay child support to me. Screw her. And the next one is titled, "My boyfriend stole my property and gave it to his sister." So I, female, have been with my boyfriend, I will call him Adam, for almost a year now. I met him through my master's degree in the UK. When I was a sophomore in college, I had a long-term boyfriend who I will call Kyle, who took his own life. We were together for 3 years and I would never wish the pain of losing someone like that on my worst enemy. When we started college, Kyle gifted me a locket with the word most engraved on the back of it. It was our thing, it meant that he loved me the most. Sappy, but it was ours. Since his passing, this has been my most valuable possession ever, and I don't go anywhere without it. It's my last piece of Kyle. After finishing my degree and struggling the entire time, I decided that I needed to get out of the town where everything happened and decided to study my master's degree in the UK, which is where I met Adam. He's the first person I've allowed myself to love since losing Kyle, and I really have loved our relationship up until this. If it is true, I'll never be able to forgive him. So Adam has always been insecure of Kyle, asking hypothetical questions like if Kyle was still alive, would I be with him, and what I prefer about him over Kyle, etc. I usually dodged the questions and never gave him an answer, as I don't condone these type of questions and don't want to feed into it. We have also had to have several conversations regarding Adam talking badly about Kyle. He also dislikes if I post about Kyle on his birthday or death anniversary or have hard days. He sees this as that I don't love him and I am still hung up on Kyle. No matter how many years that pass and how much I love Adam, Kyle was my first and his life was cut short. He was also my best friend. I will mourn his life forever, even if I've moved on romantically. He knows how much this necklace from Kyle means to me and how devastated I've been the last 2 weeks frantically searching our apartment for it. I took a shower one day and set the necklace in the same place I always do. When I came out of the shower it was gone, and Adam swears he has no idea where it is and it must have fallen somewhere and got lost. I've been beside myself, spent nights in tears over losing this. Adam has a sister who we will call Jane. Jane recently celebrated her 21st birthday and I'm in her Snapchat private story where she posted the beautiful locket that her big brother got her for her special day. It was the same locket. I know, because it has the same engraving on the back. I don't know how Adam explained that one, but he must have somehow. Me and Jane are not particularly close and this is not something I feel I can just confront her about casually. I also feel silly bringing it up to Adam in case it's not the same locket and I'm just going insane, just looking for excuses because I was careless and lost it. I don't see where else Adam would have gotten this locket though, as it was made for me by a small business back in the States. She was local to Kyle and I and her work have always been my favorite. Advice on how to ask Adam about this? I know if I do he will deny it either way and this locket means the world to me, I need it back. And now some comments from OP responding to comments on Reddit in regards to OP should reach out to Adam's sister and explain about the locket situation and break up with Adam. OP responded, I don't intend to stay with my boyfriend, I just need to figure out a way to make sure that I get the necklace back. Then OP on needing to end the relationship and move her things out, OP said, the relationship will definitely be done, it's just tricky because we share an apartment, his name is on the lease as he's from the UK and I'm American. Working out the best way around it so I don't become homeless and trying to scrape together enough for a trip home for a while. And then someone commented, can I ask what are your thoughts on his red flag behaviors, being jealous of a person who died prematurely? It seems like it didn't occur to you that those are massive red flags before the necklace theft. And then OP said, I've noticed that there are red flags. I guess I've just excused them as Adam is the first person I found myself having those feelings for again. Also, we share an apartment. His name is on the lease because he's from the UK and I'm from the States. I'm also a student and trying to scrape together enough money to go back home for a while. I know it's a stupid reason to stay in a disrespectful relationship, but this is a foreign country and I'm mostly alone here. Commenter number 2, if he denies it, tell him to produce the receipt or bank statement from the purchase. If he claims that he paid cash, ask him what jewelry store or site he bought it from. Reach out to them to see if they've ever sold something like that. Then, when he cannot prove that he bought it, send photos of yourself wearing the locket to his sister and let her know that Adam stole it from you. If she knows about your late boyfriend, you can let her know it's the last piece you have of him and you need it back. Hopefully she's a good person and returns it. He is competing with your late partner. Once you get your locket back, just leave. And now an update to the story. It's been almost 3 weeks since I posted and I did not plan to update, but I've seen a few comments asking for one. A day or two after the initial post, I confronted Adam about the locket. He claimed he didn't know what I was talking about and he couldn't believe that I could be as cold as to accuse him of this. When asked for receipts or any proof that the locket was not the same as mine, he could not produce any and got angry and stormed out of our apartment. He came back that night and tried to gaslight me into believing that I was the one who created a problem out of nothing, and even that the necklace he got his sister had no engraving whatsoever. Unlucky for him, I had contacted his mom while he was away and stated that I had misplaced my locket and was wondering if it had accidentally taken home by Adam when he was visiting. She got back to me pretty quickly saying that she had found my necklace on her daughter Jane's present pile stacked away in a corner. She said that she would return the necklace to me as soon as possible and that herself or Jane must have mistaken it for one of her presents and put it back in the pile. She promised me that she would keep a hold of it in her room until she got the chance to return it. Immediately after I had confirmation that Adam's mom had the locket, I booked the cheapest flight home I could find and asked his mom for a lift to the airport, that way she could return the necklace. She agreed, and after that I sat planning exactly how I would tell Adam that we were breaking up. I did not need him to admit to stealing the necklace. The fact that I had enough doubt in my mind that I knew he had taken it was enough for me to know that this relationship was going nowhere. Honestly, I just wanted my necklace back. I stayed with Adam until my flight, which was about a week ago. I let him and his mom drive me to the airport. I left a note breaking up with him, telling him that my friends would be by to pick up my stuff and move it between their flats. I took a leave of absence from university until I work out where I'm gonna stay when I get back to the UK. And also have contacted my landlord about taking my name off the lease. When Adam's mom gave me back my necklace, his face was priceless. He looked like a deer in the headlights. He was so angry, but he couldn't show it in front of his mom. His sister Jane has not once questioned the missing necklace, and it's been around 2 weeks now. I doubt she'll ever notice. She's rather spoiled. I'm glad to update that I'm safe. I'm back home with my necklace from Kyle. I'm just home from visiting him with his grave, telling him this entire story and laughing about it. It reminded me that I should update and probably hold higher standards in men for myself. Thanks for your love and support. Either way, the next one is a revenge story. So my 18 female, mother 50-something female kicked me out today because I would not let her financially take advantage of me. She told me to get out and take nothing with me, then she left. I'm really fortunate that one of my friends lives in the same building as me, so we were able to take everything I owned in about 3 hours. I've been seeing this coming for a while, so most of my things were already packed away. Now a little context for my friend. She, bless her heart, has the worst body odor I've ever smelled. It's bad, like never completely come out of fabric bad. And for the past 3 hours we've been running up and down 2 flights of stairs carrying heavy boxes. So as we sit on the couch resting and taking the place in before we never return, I allow myself one petty thought. I grab my mom's pillow and I hand it to my friend. She understands the assignment. That pillow goes under her armpits, her back, her chest, anywhere. It can soak up 3 hours worth of sweat. That pillow sees hell. We put the pillow back in its place and then leave. Now, I don't know if she actually meant for me to leave or not, but when she gets home and sees my room empty, I hope she regrets chasing away the last person who cared for her. And when she gets in bed and lays her head down on her pillow, I hope she cries. Edit, I'm not sure why it won't let me post the updates separately, so I'll just put it here. Hi, so this was kind of my first time posting here, and I'm surprised at how much attention this got. I was really shaken when I made the first post and I left out a lot of details because I just wanted to share a funny moment. But I've been getting a lot of questions and I cannot sleep, so I wanted to answer a few of them. The most asked one of course, what do you mean by taking advantage of you financially? First of all, no, she did not ask me to pay rent. I would kill just to pay rent and know my living situation will be secure. I'm not sure where to start that would give enough context, but I'll start by saying that my mother is a narcissist. She's a miserable woman that everyone who has ever known her has hated. She is a leech that has only ever known how to take from others. She's been addicted to gambling since before I was born, and she certainly has not stopped now. Anyways, I will get into the main story. Please keep in mind that my knowledge is very limited. Most of it came from her, and she is the least honest person I know. I don't understand much of this to begin with. So, about a year or two ago, my grandma passed away and left her house to my mom. The house is in a gated community / trailer park with a horrible board / HOA, something like that. I'm not sure exactly what it is. My mother explained it to me as a club, and to live there you need to qualify to join. And yeah, sounds like an HOA. To qualify, you need to own a trailer, a truck to pull it, and go on a few camping trips with them. My great-grandparents promised that we wouldn't have to do anything, but the club demands that we go through the process to qualify to live there. Our living situation is not awful, but it's stressful to maintain. My mom found some guy to drain off his money, and they've been fighting over rent every month. I'm not told much, but I saw a paper that said we owe a lot. I truly don't know why we didn't move down to the house to live basically rent-free. She said it was so I could finish high school with my friends, but I don't believe her. She didn't want to move there, but she didn't want to sell it either. She claimed that it was both because of sentimentality and because she knew she would gamble all the money away the moment it hit her bank account. I know my great-grandma's death was hard on her, and her grief made her spend more nights at the casino. I would almost feel sorry for her if she didn't make her 16-year-old daughter comfort her at her grandma's deathbed. So once she burned any money she inherited, she pawned off the trailer and I assume the truck too, but I never heard much of it. She pawned anything valuable she could find. She would often ask me for money to keep from losing them forever. She would often just ask me for money for any reason. Once she realized that she couldn't just win back enough money to get the trailer back, she started begging me for the money. Not me, begging me to ask my dad for money. They've been separated since I was about 11 and have not spoken a word to each other since. The night before my 18th birthday, she told me that I needed to get money from him or she would lose the trailer and then we would lose the house. I already felt bad enough receiving any money from him, but asking him for thousands of dollars for my mom? He would literally never give her anything. And apparently it would just be all my fault that we lost the house. I barely made it 20 minutes before breaking down and leaving school early the next morning. Walking 2 hours uphill home, that was about 8 months ago. It has just been a constant stress with her demanding things of me that I just cannot do every month or so. Recently, she finally decided to sell the house because she couldn't qualify to live there. She found someone to sell it to, even if it is for a lot less than what it is worth. 5 days ago, I'm just sitting at my desk when she comes into my room and just tells me that she gave my number to her agent and that she's gonna call me. She does not elaborate until I ask why, and she just tells me that she's gonna put the house in my name and that I'm gonna sell it. I'm 18. I barely understand half of the things she has told me about what's going on with the house. I really don't care whatever advantage I might get from it. It's too much stress and I have no idea what I'd be doing. No one is gonna tell me what the consequences of this could be. I would not even understand half of what I would find online if I tried to look it up. I don't even know what to ask. This is an absurd thing to ask of anyone so inexperienced. Why is she doing this, you ask? Well, she said that because of the taxes she owes, if the money went into her account, it would be used to pay them all off and she wouldn't get to keep most of the money. You see, I don't really understand it completely, but I've been told that this is tax evasion. My own mom wants to use me for tax evasion. Whatever her reasons and intentions, I don't trust her. I may be missing out on a lot of money, but my loss is none of her business. The consequences of her actions are finally catching up to her, and she is upset that I won't sacrifice myself for her. I've got my whole life ahead of me and I don't want to start it off any worse than I already am. Anyways, I know that if I have that money, she will never stop asking for it. Basically, she will just do what she already does but on a larger scale. Ask to borrow money, never pay it back, or pay half it months later, and then she said she will, then beg for forgiveness while asking for more. She will do it for the rest of my life if she can, so I immediately called my dad and we made a plan to talk to the agent together once he gets back to my state from his vacation. Horrible timing, I know, but things happened way too fast. Today I was still in bed when my mom comes into my room and again just tells me that she's gonna put the house in my name and have me sell it. Then she tells me there are fees, $1,200-ish, for doing this stuff and she needs me to get the money from my dad. I have not even put on my glasses yet, much less think about what I'm gonna say, so I just tell her what I always tell her, that he won't give her anything and she just loses it. I don't say anything else. What I'm realizing now was a trauma response and it just makes her even angrier. She screams at me that I'm stupid and a bitch over and over until she just tells me to get out and go live with my dad. So yeah, I wish she'd just ask me for rent. Sorry if taking advantage of me financially was not the right way to put it. I'm just not sure what else to call it. Second most asked question is, are you okay? Well, I will be. My dad is gonna pick me up from my friend's apartment tomorrow. He's gonna help me get my life together and make sure that I'm successful. It feels weird for once to be thought of without anyone else gaining anything from it. My parents separated when I was about 11 to 12. We tried to make split custody work, but my mom would not stop trying to turn me against him. She made me tell him that I didn't want to see him anymore, and I never saw him again until I was 15 to 16. I've been steadily spending more time with him since then. I've also been talking to a therapist for about a year. I'm not alone in this. Has your friend tried X? Your friend might have Y. She, 18 female, I forgot in the first post, said that she just has bad genetics and that a lot of her family has the same problem. Her hygiene is fine and most of the time I don't smell anything. It's just that when I texted her for help, she was also in bed and did not have the chance to shower or put on deodorant. With the constant labor and stairs for such a long time, it was literally the worst case scenario. In regards to the "did you get all your important documents" question from you? Well, sadly no. My mother is a mess and so are her things. I would not know where to find anything nor what they even look like. It's just something I'm gonna have to deal with later. Also, I don't have a credit card. I didn't have my own bank account until about 3 months ago when I got my first job. So much has been going on that I never got around to it. I don't have any kind of shared account with my mom, as there would literally be no point. She would just gamble anything I would put in there. Before, I had a shared one with my dad that he would put money in every once in a while. I'm very fortunate that he's been doing well. And yeah guys, with this we have reached the end of the video. However, if you cannot get enough of my content, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to not miss any of my daily uploads. And also check out my podcast by searching for Ripe Stories on Spotify, Amazon, Audible and other podcast platforms. You will often find exclusive episodes and early access to new content. Furthermore, please check out my Patreon by going to patreon.com/ripeyoutube or my YouTube membership program for even more exclusive stories. Thank you so much and I will see you again tomorrow.